Hello, this is the hatchetjob.com gaming netcast, and you're about to listen to part of a podcast we did in February 2011, at the start of February, and it's a discussion about Modern Combat Domination by Gameloft for the PlayStation Network, for the PS3. Now, I'm putting this footage up now in June because I've just got a capture card, and so I thought this is a good opportunity to put some video to our podcast audio. But bear in mind that, of course, between February and June, the community, as far as I can see, for the game has dwindled. So you'll only see deathmatch footage here, and that's because I went looking for the objective game types, but there weren't that many people playing them, so this is the largest match I could find. And anybody with a rank before their name, I believe, is a bot. But I still think that the show holds up and that it's a good discussion of the game, and I think if you have a group of friends who are looking for something cheap to buy and fancy some very simple, but that doesn't necessarily mean bad, shooter action, then Modern Combat should still be worthy of your consideration. But anyway, on with the show.
Right, let's move on to the next one. This is going to be more upbeat. Modern Combat Domination. It's like Modern Combat Domination.
Jesus Christ. So, will this episode be called Generic Bullshit Shooter?
This is an $8 game.
All right, I'm looking it up.
On the PSN, it cost me £5 because I'm a PlayStation Plus subscriber. £4.70 or something, right? And it looks like Call of Duty, right? And you have numbers flashing up like in Call of Duty. It's Move compatible, so you can play it with the Move or with the DualShock.
Have you tried it with the
3
Move?
pad. I don't have a Move. Some people really don't like it with Move. Others say it's okay if you get the calibration right. But here's the thing, right? Modern Combat Domination is good. I've had more fun in this than in Breach. I've had more fun in this than in Bulletstorm. And the reason is, it looks like Call of Duty, but it's Counter-Strike.
Yeah, it looks like a prettied up Counter-Strike to me.
So when you play, there are no kill streaks, there are no perks. You do unlock weapons in your career, but basically from round to round, if people out there don't know what Counter-Strike is, from round to round, you earn money by killing people, and then between rounds you get to buy new guns to play with, and if you die, you lose those guns and have to start again.
So when you die, there's no respawn.
On some modes there is respawn, on some modes there isn't.
Okay.
And the modes are, there's deathmatch, I think there's team deathmatch, I think there might be a free-for-all. There's one where you have to go and get a briefcase and take it from basically the enemy stronghold to the outside of the map. There's one where you have to set a missile off, which is essentially planting a bomb. There is another one where you have to escort a VIP, and there's kind of conquest mode, where you have to hold areas of the map. The maps are all very small. I think it's up to 16 players. Small maps, so you'll always be close to action, but the maps are well made. There are multiple routes into each area, and there are different levels as well, so you can actually shoot down onto people or shoot up. There are bots in the game, so if you get a game going with your friends, you don't have enough friends in it, you have to have humans on both sides, so for example on terrorists and counter-terrorists, but bots will come in. Bots will fill out the roster in online games. And so if you join an online game that has bots in, you can just take over one of the bot positions instead of having to wait for something to free up. The weapons are all quite balanced. The sounds aren't very good. The graphics aren't amazing, but it's solid enough. Recoil is important. You can't just hold down a gun. You actually have to feather it if you're zoomed in. Part of the reason I like it is I'm better at this than any shooter I've been at in a long time, and I don't know why.
Oh my god, I just had a stroke of genius. You make a shooter, right? And it's real people you're playing with. But say two people come together, you lie to them both and say they both won. Like, you're just kicking ass all the time. Like 32 to 5 all the time. And everybody's getting this. Everybody's getting the same information that they're the best.
Well, I got to, my last score was, I think, 22 or 20 and 1.
So maybe I didn't come up with this idea. Maybe they did.
Because we played with you and we know that's not really possible.
For £5 or $8, guys, this is a good game.
They've done a competent and shameless ripoff. It's a lot easier to do a competent ripoff if it's shameless, I think.
Yeah.
it's totally derivative, but there's nothing, it doesn't feel broken in any way. Only two things are a bit weird, which is when you join a game, say for example, one side has to plant a bomb, one has to stop the bomb being planted. You don't swap teams. So you will always be the guys trying to plant the bomb. And that game, unless you set up a private one and you set your own rounds and so on, that game will be 13 rounds long. But even if one team has got so far ahead that they can't lose, you still have to play the full 13 rounds.
Oh, that's rough.
Strange.
Yeah, I'm impressed. It's nice to see that there are going to be high-def, real quote-unquote shooters using the sort of, I guess, pointer style of controls that are available on the Wii.
So do we know if that's any good or not? Like the pointing? I mean,
I
firsthand.
prefer that on the Wii. I prefer that in the games that I played. But of course, there's not that many people playing online first-person shooters on the Wii.
Yeah. In this game, Danjo, I've heard varying reports that Move doesn't work too well.
So we talked about this earlier, and I came to the conclusion that I'd rather play a shooter with my feet than the PlayStation controller. But if the Move kind of works, I think that's worth an experiment. How expensive is a Move?
The Move controller, I think, is £35. And you only need the one with the ping pong ball on top to play, because you can use the one side of your PlayStation pad as the other part of the controller.
So I think there's a little bit of difference between the Wii and the Move, because I think that what the Move is doing is that there's that camera, right, which is taking a rectangle picture, and it's seeing the ball, and so wherever the ball is within that rectangle is like where your mouse cursor would be on a computer screen. Whereas the Wii is actually taking a picture from the controller of the two invisible infrared lights and triangulating where you're pointing approximately, right? So you're not actually pointing with the Move, as far as I understand it. You're just moving a ball around in a space. I may be wrong on that.
I think you may be right.
Because it doesn't know how you've oriented the controller.
Right,
it just knows
exactly.
what the ball is really well. So it has no idea what direction you're pointing at all, is I think.
Yeah, but guys, you've been very quiet about this, about my enthusiasm for an admittedly cheap game.
There's something nice about a very serviceable, cheap arcade shooter. And it doesn't seem like it's trying to do anything fancy. The bots seem like a good solution for, these problems that a lot of downloadable console games might have, where if there's not a big community, you can still get games going with a few people.